Hey, it's your Plain Donuts co-host, Steve. Welcome to the podcast, and enjoy the show. Nice, good silence.
Woohoo, that was a great silence. But if you're listening to the podcast, that wasn't silence. That was our intro song. Yep.
There it was.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm your co-host, Steve.
And I'm your other co-host, Alicia. And this is the Plain Donuts podcast.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not do a crazy dance? Why not take a crazy chance? Hillary Duff.
Oh, okay. Good.
I could not name the song,
I couldn't
but it's
either.
a really good song. So
anyway,
Hillary Duff.
Here we go. We've begun by talking about Hillary the Duff.
Hillary the Duff. Not related to the movie The Duff.
Let's start by asking us the regular introductory question of how has your week been?
It's been pretty good. So, my coworkers who were gone last week are back, so I don't have to do 3 persons' jobs at the same time, which is a little stressful. And I was like, I just really don't want anyone's work to be bad, so just there's that. So, what about you, Steve?
You had to do 3 jobs?
I had to do 3 jobs.
What did that entail? 3 different kinds of jobs, or basically 3 of the same job?
It's kind of 3 of the same job, but I work with, I mentioned this before, I work with different ad campaigns.
Oh,
and
right.
we have
Yep.
like sales reps that hold several accounts for each sales rep, and I have 2-ish, 3, I guess, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And so my other coworkers, one has 3 and one has 2, and they both left at the same time. So all of a sudden, there was an extra 5. And there were some other people that were there. You know, we tried to split the work, but it was just really difficult.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what these accounts are or what people are doing with them. So I have a client who's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know who you are. Hello, my name's Alicia. I will try and do my best. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, my
about
week's
you?
been kind of okay. It's been good. I have had a few things. Number one, it's really cold. It's
really
always
cold here.
cold, and I'm so ready for it not to be cold all the
Yeah.
time. In fact, in the office in which we do the podcast, I brought in a space heater because I don't want to run the heat for my entire upstairs. We're like, it's not really fancy because when we built our house, they gave it to us as an addition for free. But there's a damper system in our house, meaning that we have 2 thermostats and one for upstairs and one for downstairs, and it just switches between them. Or if both of them are running, then it will just open and run on both upstairs and downstairs.
Fancy.
But anyway, my office is upstairs, but most of the time nobody's up here. So I don't want to like run the heat up here because that's wasteful and is going to cost me a lot of money. So I brought in a space heater that I'm running on low, and that's been really nice. Wow, good story.
Yeah. I feel like Run the Heat Up Here sounds like a rap lyric.
Yeah.
Or a hip hop lyric, which would be fire.
Yo.
Hashtag fire on a t-shirt.
Run the heat up here.
Run the heat up here. Hashtag Kanye. Hashtag Drake.
Yes.
So
anyway, that's been good. It's been really cold. Subsequently, I don't know if it's subsequent to that or if it's just also
sequence.
Yes, but I've mentioned before that I've been like trying to lose weight and like counting calories and stuff. And I mentioned this to you earlier today, but like I have been hungry all the time. I just want to eat food.
Is really fired up because it's cold and he's hungry.
It's so frustrating because like summer, fall, like I could just eat a regular sized human meal and be like, oh, this is fine, great. I've counted those calories and it's good to go. And now I eat the same meal and I'm like, give me all of it more. So like,
yeah, I think. Oh, I just hate winter in that way. Winter is my least favorite season So everything about winter, it's dry where we are.
Yeah.
Particularly. And so, my hands are cracking and dry. My lips are dry. My eyeballs are dry and cold. I'm cold. I'm dry. I'm having a really bad time because I'm hungry. Winter's just not a good time.
It's hard.
It's the
and
worst.
I don't know. I also have a little bit seasonal affective stuff. Not like seriously. Sad. Yeah, but like... Not to the point where, like, some people have it legitimately where they get, like, dramatically more depressed than normal. But not me. I just tend to be a little bit more dour all the time, which sort of sucks.
I try to combat SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder, for those of you who don't know what that is.
Yeah.
By going tanning, actually. And I know tanning's bad for you, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but hit the tanning booth, like, once a month, 5 minutes, when it gets dark at 4 o'clock... You're just like, I'm okay now. Like,
I have a great tanning booth story, actually.
Anything that starts with I have a great tanning booth story is going to be a really great story.
Oh, man. So I will come back because I have one more thing about how it's going for me. I decided that last episode that the beginning of every episode is just going to be me being... angry and emotional.
I've been told that Steve is more open about his feelings and I'm kind of more reserved. So I'll try and be less reserved.
I do. I've always worn my heart on my sleeve. Always since I was a little kid. Yeah. So.
And Steve's got hearts on his sleeve because he's got sleeve tattoos. Actually, I don't know if there's hearts on there. But...
There's a heart on my chest. Oh. Well, the tattoo heart. Also, there's a heart in my chest.
His chest.
Anyway, so... in high school, I had this girlfriend who went tanning occasionally, and in order to, be part, I went with her one time and, got in the tanning booth, and...
Not with her, though, right?
Right, no.
Okay, I was like, this is getting a little weird.
No, not like that. Well, and that wouldn't be good if you think about... It's not a good situation for, romance.
We're both being cooked at by these artificial lights.
Come over here, baby. My skin is so dry right now.
We're sweating so much together. Do you want to turn on the fan, or do you want to just leave it on?
The thing that's giving me skin radiation is so good. Anyway, so I went with her one time in separate booths, and this isn't actually a great story, except for I never did that before, and I was in, it must have been 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, and
did you get so burned?
I got more burned than I've ever been in my whole life. It was really bad.
That's so bad.
And then I never did it again.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no reason for me to do that.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard. Yeah,
I don't know if that maybe I've exaggerated it over the years. It's been a long time since I was in high school.
Well, even if it's your first tan, you're supposed to go in for you're supposed to build it up. You can't just throw yourself in and be like, bronze me, and the tanning booth is like, I'm a tanning booth, I can't talk back, so yes. But you have to build it up. But I usually go for maybe 6 minutes. Tops, yeah. Because then I just get... I like it because I feel warm, and then I put in headphones. I listen to a couple songs, and I pretend I'm on the beach. I'm like, oh yes, that's cool.
Nice.
I'm not in Utah right now.
So
it's
it's an imagination effort.
Yes.
That's
just
cool.
My monitor at work. I change it to different scenes of beaches, and then if I get really stressed out, I put my hands over the sides of my face to make it a tunnel, and then I lean really close to my monitor and I pretend I'm looking at the beach.
You're you like to visualize nice things for yourself. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I just live life no matter how it comes at me. And then if I want to escape, I watch television shows, or usually I just dig my face into my phone and play Candy Crush or something stupid. So yeah, I went tanning once. It was really bad. Ugh. So the other thing is, I'm always hungry, and I've been not a whole lot, but some going over my calorie limit for the day. Not a lot of excess, but to the point where I'm like, oh dang, why did I go over my limit? And I don't know what happened, but I hurt my foot.
Ugh.
When I'm in good health, I'll do the calorie thing and then be like, okay, so I ate this and I want to have this much left for dinner or whatever. So I need to get on my treadmill and go so that I'll have some space there, right? So I don't know what I did. The top of my foot has just been hurting for like 2 weeks. So I haven't been able to exercise either. So this winter is just going to be me bloating back to where I started. Hopefully not. No. We'll keep trying. But it's hard. And the thing is like this whole calorie counting thing was actually quite easy when we started. Yeah. And now that I'm like way hungrier all the time, it's much more difficult. So anyway.
That sounds like the worst.
It's not actually as bad as I'm making it out to be, but it is kind of rough. And
yeah.
I don't know. When you walk around your house all day like hungry and in pain, that's no fun.
You're like an animal, Steve.
I am. I feel like
your foot's caught in a trap and you're just starving to death in the middle of winter. Like a sad little bear cub.
I feel like this, yes. And I like that descriptor for me because it makes me feel kind of cute. All right. Okay. Well, cool. So we can actually probably begin our dumb podcast now.
That's so stupid. So dumb.
So we sourced some questions from our listening audience before we began recording tonight. Yay. I think we should start with your stuff because it's basically a big game of Would You Rather, right?
Like, so let's do that. We can totally breeze through this, and we haven't done our games in a while.
Yeah, so
I'm
maybe
hoping
we'll
get to some because there are some good ones in the bowl that have been like marinating, I'll say, for a while. So
okay.
I'd love to get to that.
I'm ready.
Day.
I'm so ready.
All right. So the first question is from MKM. I'll abbreviate their names to keep them anonymous. Would you rather be the oldest person that has ever lived or the youngest person that has ever been born? And my response to that is, at one point, I was the youngest person in the world.
So I thought of this, like, you could take it so many ways. Yeah. But yes, at one point we were all the youngest person that was ever born.
But metaphysical.
One way could be that you were the youngest person, like, you were born before the earliest possible moment that it was safe for you to leave the womb. So you're like a super premature baby. That sounds awful. So I guess no thanks. But the thing is, you don't really remember that very much. So
I think what's the youngest? I think 20 weeks, right?
I have no idea.
The cutoff date. I listened to some podcast about it on NP. I think it was like a Radiolab one about it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the window, 20, 21 weeks. So they're like, oh, this baby's really, really not cooked all the way. And we would prefer to have it cooked some more, but we'll try and do the best that we can.
Put it back in that belly tanning bed.
Yeah, we gotta bake it some more. It's not done yet. The eyeballs are still goo. And
the belly bed.
Yes. Bake that baby.
Woo! Okay. So anyway, I thought of it that, or, what's the youngest person who ever lived? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that has ever been born.
So, or
the oldest person that has ever lived.
The youngest person ever born. So you could, it could just be that you're perceived as to be very young for your whole life. Which also kind of sucks, actually, because there's an actual condition where, where you look like a child forever.
Yeah.
That's no fun. But the thing is, a long life is supposed to be perceived as a good thing.
Yeah.
So, and if you're the oldest person who ever lived, maybe you've, gained a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
This seems like an easy answer to me. Yeah. Obviously would rather live to be the oldest ever. Yeah. Unless I'm, suffering through my whole life.
Yeah, I don't know how it would feel. Because I feel like, at least in America, we don't really tend to... We were like, yes, we want to keep living and living and living and living, no matter what. We don't really prepare ourselves for, end-of-life care, really. We're just kind of I want to keep doing whatever it takes to stay alive, even if, I am literally rotting in my own body and I can't move. And it's just a really bad time, and, I'm 110.
But I'm still alive!
Yeah, it's just... I don't know. There's some people, in Okinawa, Japan, it's the population of the oldest people in the world live there. And these people are in their 90s and they still do a lot of cool stuff. So if that's what my future holds, like old Okinawan Japanese man who still like walks every day and has a pet fish, like that's cool.
That sounds cool.
That sounds nice. Like I wouldn't mind that life. But if it's like, oh, I've been in hospice for 20 years and I'm still going.
Sounds terrible.
It's like, this is awful. Like, just, no thanks.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a kind of a difficult one.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
So this one's pretty funny. Would you rather live the best day of your life on repeat, but die at the end of 2017? Which I don't really understand that part, but...
Like, I guess just to give it some confines, maybe it's live the best day of your life until the end of 2017. Okay.
That's great.
But it's a repeated day.
Best day of your life, but it's not like Groundhog Day, because I was like, if it's repeating, I never get to 2017, but I'm still repeating the best day of my life, so that's pretty cool.
That's true.
So live the best day of your life on repeat, but die at the end of 2017, or be reincarnated and live out your days as Scott Stapp. Scott Stapp is the singer
for Creed.
So, ooh. Would you rather do this kind of awesome thing, or do this really...
Well, see, like, do I just inhabit Scott Stapp's body and then because there would be a weird,
like his consciousness is like your consciousness.
Like if I become Scott Stapp, I hope I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Like I hope Scott Stapp doesn't hate himself every single day. That sucks.
That would be so sad.
Like I guess see the thing is 365 of a repeat of my best day ever. Like. That's okay, but like the thing is if I like, I'll bet Scott Stapp is still kind of rich from all this Creed money.
Yeah, Creed money.
So like, if I could just inhabit his body and like become Scott Stapp, it'd be really weird for a few months because I'd have to figure out how to like work my life out to convince the people around me that I am Scott Stapp. But then, like, once you're through that hump, and like maybe you just say, "Oh, I had a weird stroke, and now I have a different personality."
So weird. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd be different at like going from a female gender to a male gender.
Oh, that's true.
That would be a really weird step for me. I'd just be like, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Scott Stapp, step. But I don't know, that would be really bizarre. And I wouldn't want to like tour or do anything. And so I'd probably breach like all these contracts and be sued. And I would probably end up losing all my money just because I don't want to perform. You
know what you could do actually is just say like, just finish what you're supposed to be doing at this moment and just say no to everything else. Like, no, I feel like given the advantages that Scott Stapp has at this very moment in life, I could inhabit his life and, like, make something awesome out of it from there on out. Like, I just feel like a little bit of a leg up would really be awesome.
Like, you know what, you guys? We should really collab with Fleet Foxes. I think we can make some really great
Hey,
music.
Fleet Foxes, we're coming at you with arms wide open because we really want to do a collaboratory work. And I know our previous music sucked, but we figure you can help us not suck so much anymore. With arms wide open.
Man, that's a...
Can you take me? Okay, sorry.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Plain Donuts Music Podcast.
And that was from my friend Chandler.
We didn't answer the question.
We did not. I'm gonna pick best day of my life on a repeat.
I'm picking Scott Stapp because I really feel like I don't want to live for just one more year, even if it's a great year.
Yeah.
Like I still have a lot of stuff I want to do, and like I could do that stuff as Scott Stapp.
Oh man!
I mean, I would be bummed out though because like
I'll lose all my friends.
Yeah, that would
like
suck
inherit,
a lot.
Like really weird, maybe potentially like heroin addicted
I know.
friends.
Can you?
And what if you're on
Yeah,
heroin?
what if you go in? What if you suddenly are in Scott's Step and you're like,
I need heroin. I've never tried heroin before. Like, it's just a weird.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's tough.
And the thing is like, you'd be like, I don't know, like I'm addicted, so I guess I have to.
I need it, but
at least once.
Yeah.
Try it out, and then you're just like stuck in that cycle of addiction.
Wow, that sounds rough.
Man, it's a hard one, but I still pick Scott Stapp. I just don't want to die after another 365 days. Knock on wood.
All right. Our next question is from Jameson. Shout out to Jameson.
Yeah.
Would you rather be stuck in gridlock on the 405 or listen to the same song over and over again for a day? I'm gonna pick the same song because gridlock and traffic make me really crazy. Mm-hmm. And like if I'm not familiar. I think the 405 is in LA, right?
I think so. Yeah.
California.
I'm pretty sure California has the 5 and the 405.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they go by numbers, but if you're in the East Coast, you typically refer to it by name. So, I'm going to get on the Van Wyck to go to this.
Interesting.
The Brooklyn, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So,
I guess that makes sense because that's where our American history is from, and we just got more boring as we went west.
What do you want to name this one? Well,
there's a system to it.
Yeah, there is a system.
So in Utah we have
and it's by if it's east-west or
north
north
and south.
Yeah.
So I-80 goes east and west, but I-15 goes north and south, and then 215 is a belt around or along.
Belt route.
Yeah, along I-15, and the same thing would go for the 5 and the 405. So the 5 would go north and south. If it doesn't work like this, I'm not from California. So the 5 goes north and south, and the 405 is like a belt route.
So I'll pick song because I'm not familiar with LA traffic. What's
the stipulation about the song?
I don't know. Same song over. I think you can pick whatever you want.
Over and over for a day.
Yeah, and that's not too bad.
Is the implication that you're listening to music all day?
Yeah, and I guess I'm assuming that you can't stop the song. Like from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to sleep, or for a 24-hour period, you have to listen to this song, whether you are actually listening to music or not.
Does he say what song it has to be?
No,
a good song or a bad song?
We get to pick the song. So I'm going to pick... I don't know.
Nobody's forcing you to pick a song right now.
I kind of want to pick a song.
Okay.
Just because I have to imagine myself. I would pick a concerto or something. Something I'm like, oh yeah, this is so bad. Nothing with lyrics, because if I'm having to repeat the same. If it was Happy, and I don't even mind that song, but some people really hate that song with Pharrell. I would go crazy.
Oh, man.
That would drive me nuts.
I don't mind that song, but all day?
All day, that would make me kind of crazy.
Yeah. So. No, I would pick, if it was me, I would pick, one of the, 10-minute songs from, the Superman soundtrack or something. Because it doesn't have any melody that you really remember. After a while, you would get to know the song, right? But, you would also sort of just feel dark and epic all day, which is kind of cool.
Or I would choose Hans Zimmer to write me a song.
Oh, that's a great idea.
24 hours.
He did do the Man of Steel soundtrack.
Yeah, he did Man of Steel and Inception Batman stuff, and 12 Years a Slave, which all are really great soundtracks. Yeah. So I'd be getting on the train and it's just bum. I'm something gonna happen to me? What's gonna happen today? Yeah.
I kind of want to do that experiment now. Just listen to the same long epic song over and over. And I don't mean epic I literally mean an epic song. That'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
And just see what happens if you just listen to it all day. What does it make your day feel like?
Yeah.
Man.
Or just change your mood.
What an interesting idea. But
the
other thing is how long are you stuck in gridlock? Because what if it's 10 minutes and you're done? Yeah.
I guess. I don't know, I still want to try the song thing.
I think for experiment's sake, the same song all day.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
That's good.
Cool.
I like that too. We're in agreement on that.
Yeah.
One. Cool. it's your co-host Steve again. You made it all the way to the middle of the podcast. Good job. I just wanted to take this time and say again, thank you very much for continuing to listen. We really appreciate you guys very much. You're just wonderful listeners. So if you love the podcast, and I know you do, the only way we're going to grow to any further success is with you. So we love our community. We love to hear from you. Interacting with us is one way you can actually help us to get more visibility, especially online. So you can always find us on Facebook or Twitter. And the easiest way to find all of our social media profiles is through the official Plain Donuts website, yourplaindonuts.com. That is YOUR, plaindonuts.com. Also, you can easily share any of our episodes from there. And if we could ask one thing of you, a dedicated and loving listener, it would be to share the podcast with a friend. So that, like I said, that's the only way we're going to end up at all the successful horizons we want to be at. Anyway, we really do appreciate your support. It's super positive. We've never actually heard anybody say that this podcast did not tickle their fancy. So if it doesn't tickle your fancy, come at me, bro. Anyway, that's it from me. Enjoy the rest of the show. So my friend, oh dang it, I just realized I can't fully answer his first question. My friend Aldo, he said, first of all, thoughts on the Hamilton mixtape. I haven't heard the whole thing yet, unfortunately. I've just been distracted by other media that I want to consume. But I really, really, really love it. And I think I've gotten to the point, and this is going to be very sacrilegious to people who love hip-hop and like recent hip-hop history. I just don't think I love when the Roots produce stuff. Like, because the first song on there is by the Roots, and also My Shot is produced by the Roots, and it's
not a fan, huh?
Just not a fan of those ones. Maybe I'm missing out. Somebody send me some stuff by the Roots that I would really like if you want. But like, I haven't listened to a lot of them, and I really like them in terms of like people. I like them on the Jimmy Fallon show a lot, and I think they're like, I really respect them, but I just don't love their production style. It seems like a little too layered for me, and also a little bit less. It's a little, I don't want to say sloppy, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, just not. I like stuff to be like really in the pocket, like very much, and it feels like there's kind of like a little bit of looseness to what they're doing on the Hamilton mixtape. So far, I haven't particularly loved that part, but there's a bunch of other producers on that, and a lot of the songs are really, really, really good.
I was really into Helpless. It's with Ashanti and featuring Ja Rule.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so good!
Yeah.
And it was really different. And, they kind of took, liberties to add in, like, an extra, extra verses, like hip-hop verses by Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Is it Ja?
I think it's just Ja Rule.
Not like a hard J, not like
hard
a
J.
Ja.
Yeah.
Like Jacques
Yeah,
Cousteau.
no, he's not French.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule.
Sounds like the Rue.
So anyway.
Not to be confused with La Rue, which is a artist from England, I believe.
Not to be confused with Just Rue, the character from the Hunger Games.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
Insert Hunger Games whistle here.
Yeah. Anyway. I got it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Got it.
Nailed it. I don't think... Is that, like, copyrighted?
I don't know.
If it is, that's really dumb, because it's like...
Sorry.
4 notes, right?
Sorry, Jennifer Lawrence. I know you really care.
Sorry.
Because I'm sure
never forget Rue.
I'm sure J-Law holds the copyright for that song, and nobody else involved in the production of it.
I would love if that's how it was. That's so random and it makes 0 sense.
It's just, she's got it.
She's got it. We can't. Ugh.
We were like, oh, Jennifer Lawrence, we really need a tune to go along with
Yeah.
this. It's like a big part of the books, and she's just like,
and they're like, yes,
nailed it.
Nailed it. First take.
Yes. You, Jennifer Lawrence, also got it in one. Sign these papers, you'll get the royalties.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, so anyway, no, it's really good. And actually, here's a thing that I like to do a lot that a lot of people are probably like, Steve is a real freak, but that's okay. I really like to listen to albums in the order in which they're presented. And honestly, like, so the one song that makes a lot more sense in the context of the mixtape, like in its correct order, is Kelly Clarkson's song, Unimaginable. Mm-hmm. Like, just because the way the mixtape flows, where that song falls is like, oh, this is perfect right now. The song itself, by itself, is kind of okay. Like, I like Kelly Clarkson a lot, and I think she does fine on that song. It's not too much of a departure from how it actually is in the Hamilton play, but inside that context, it's really, really good, and I really like it. Another piece of thing to note that came out this week that I'm so excited about along the lines of Hamilton and Lin-Manuel Miranda is that he is now producing a television series and a movie for the King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss, which are, I don't know why we didn't mention this when we talked about books, because we were talking about recent books, but bar none, my favorite fantasy books of the last decade are the King Killer Chronicle books.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is just like, he has his hands in so many things. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting to me, like just the way he just hops from one project to another. And I think there was like a video of him like talking about like, I never stopped working and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I hope your family life doesn't suffer from that. Yeah. That was like my first thought. Like, oh, are you taking care of your family okay, Lin-Manuel Miranda?
I've been hearing there was one rap on the radio recently and one from the Hamilton mixtape from oh shoot, I forgot his name. Old school guy who raps really fast on my shot.
Is it Busta Rhymes?
Busta Rhymes, thank you. My gosh. Anyway, but talking about how you could never take a day off, you can't take a holiday because people will come and take your spot in the world, and I'm like, these guys, don't you just like want to like enjoy your life a little once in a while? Like and that's another thing. One time, Mikey Newman, who we've mentioned before, talked about how Gearbox was making an announcement that they were going to release a game they were working on later than expected. They pushed it out like 6 months or something like that. And I actually tweeted back and I said, if that means that your developers are getting sleep and having regular family lives, then please push the game back. Like, that's one thing that I'm pretty passionate about is like people
having like a work-life balance, I think, because when people don't, I mean, I don't know, I just am thinking, because it's in the news recently, like Kanye West, how he like had a freak out. Yeah. Because he like was suffering from such like exhaustion and like mental illness that he just couldn't handle it. And I don't know, like that's a good example. Or celebrities who end up turning to like heroin, we talked about it earlier, or like opioids and things like that to keep themselves going.
Well, here's the thing, like at a certain point, your boss is like the American people. Yeah. Right? And I think we as American people we're really
terrible bosses.
Really bad bosses. Yeah. Like, I was thinking about that because really, like big YouTubers and stuff, it's funny, you hear a lot of them talk about, I work a lot on this. I work really hard. I heard Casey Neistat mention that for his vlog, he was working on it 16 hours a day.
That's so crazy.
And I was like, dude, it's not worth it. Yeah. Like, I know you're like, in terms of YouTube, pretty famous, but like, I don't think that's worth it, you know? Like,
I think at one point there's like a tipping, like a scale where you can like throw so much into it and it's gonna like, you know, provide exponential growth, and then you're gonna plateau. So you think, oh, I just got to put more stuff in it.
Yeah.
But then there's a breaking point because you have to sleep and you have to eat and you have to maintain some sort of social life where you don't completely go insane.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's just going to be really bad for you. So.
I heard a story on NPR one time about, they did a study of people coming out of college and then like their quality of work over the course of like the next 10 years or something. And basically after college, you can work in a job a lot. Excess, more than you should, for about 4 years and produce good work and make good decisions. But after that, your decision making starts to go down, and not in terms of like your work gets bad, but like ethically you start to make
like compromising decisions,
because just they didn't say exactly why that was. It's just a pattern. Like after a certain period of time of like too much excess work, you start to be willing to compromise your own ethics, right? And so like
that's crazy.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder like what, why are we putting our celebrities through this? But at the same time, like how can you stop it?
Yeah.
And I want a piece of that.
Yeah. Give me a slice of that pie. Give me a slice of that American pie.
I know. It's really bad.
Yeah. And I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. We work pretty hard on this podcast for maybe like a day-ish max. But it still feels like a lot of time in our schedules. And I can't imagine, since the sun has been going down at 4:30.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it's nighttime.
Yeah.
And it's just so late. And I don't know. Like, psychologically, it's kind of messing with me.
Yeah.
At least when it's wintertime. But I can't imagine spending more than, like, 24 hours a week doing this.
And when I started doing programming, I was working a lot of hours. And then I got a job where they were like, we actually care that you have a family and stuff. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
That's excellent. And then, like, shortly thereafter, I heard that NPR story, and I was like, I was about to get in the range where I was going to start making some crappy decisions and be a bad person.
Thanks for not taking drugs to stay awake for a long time, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome, world.
We are the meth capital of the world.
We are, and probably opioids, too.
We're a little, sorry. We're kind of a mess.
Utah has a pretty good underbelly.
And we were also recently rated worst drivers in the United States.
Really?
Number one.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Because
because Florida was number 2 for best drivers. I'm like, I call nonsense on this test. Because Florida has like the highest rate of like auto pedestrian accidents year over year.
Phoenix has 3 of the deadliest intersections in the world.
That's so crazy.
Phoenix, Arizona, one city has 3 of the deadliest intersections out of all the cities in the world.
That's
it's not
crazy.
like, oh, we just happen to have one. So I know that because I had to go to, I didn't have to, but so that the accident wouldn't go on my record, I had to go to driving school in Arizona for one really horrible long day, and they said that.
That's the worst.
I have gotten one other ticket since then and have never been in any accidents but that one.
Wow. Jeez.
I think what happened was I was distracted. I mean, I was distracted a little bit, but I usually keep about like a car length and a half in front of me, at least long enough to where I can stop if I have to.
Yeah.
But I think somebody changed lanes and I ended up rear-ending them. Because when I looked back, there was a red light and I was like, oh crap, there's a person! And I couldn't do it. So anyway, I had to go to driving school and they told me that Phoenix, Arizona has 3 of the deadliest intersections in the world. And I'm like...
That's the worst.
And I've seen some people driving pretty badly here, so...
I've seen... Because I can kind of believe that Utah maybe is the worst for, like, fender benders.
Sure.
Because when I'm coming into work, and I take the train, I see a lot of people on the side of the road in this one section of traffic. I saw 5 accidents, and nothing was severe, but people just rear-ending each other.
Yeah.
Just because there's traffic, and it's kind of a part of the road where there's lots of like exits at once, and there's like people coming on a lot. So it's, you're driving 70 and then you stop.
Yeah.
Suddenly, and it just happens. So
yeah.
I saw a lot of accidents.
So, but it's hard for me to believe that Utah actually has the worst drivers.
I can't. Florida can't be second best. I can't believe that. That's not real.
I need to review the study.
Yeah, like where are their sources?
And has this been double proven?
Yeah, it might be one of those like dumb fake news sites that's like, we made this graph and so it's believable.
Yeah,
or something stupid.
Okay, speaking of fake news, and we're not going to talk about that really, but like those dumb things. Have you ever seen basically they're like scanned in Sunday cartoons or satire cartoons that are like morning in some place and it's like a sunny picture and then 1 hour later and it's like snowing in a blizzard and it's like every day in whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious that somebody just like erased what the original author put in there and wrote Utah. Yeah. And it made
Wyoming, Montana,
every
Michigan.
Day.
It's like it's the same. People have weather everywhere. Weather
oh my gosh.
is everywhere, and it's always going to be like this because that's what weather is. It changes every hour. Yeah. And it's not the same.
Sometimes a storm rolls in. Yeah.
Just like what? It's so dumb.
I hate that. And that gets on my nerves for two reasons. It gets on my nerves in a layered way because I have a really strong ethos about crediting artists for their work and for their work to I hate the idea of music censorship. And I understand why you kind of have to do it on the radio. I get it, but I hate it because it's like they wrote it a certain way to say a certain thing, and now you're ruining what they're saying. That's the same reason that I like to listen to albums in order, is because I'm like, it was put together a way that the artist wants you to listen to it.
Listen to it, dude.
They worked hard on this ordering.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So it's that, and also I hate that everyone can't see how obvious it is. Yeah. It's like a completely different font. Yeah. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Yeah.
So anyway.
I've never had... Well, I have some suspicion that some of my graphic design work has been stolen. I was looking at a menu, and I won't name the restaurant, and I was looking at this, this is very, very similar to some graphic design I did a year. It looks exactly like the graphic design I did a year ago. It's a little fishy. Maybe. And maybe, and I've heard, everything is a remix. There's a really great podcast / video about that. People create very similar things at the same time. So it could just be a coincidence, but it just was a little suspicious for me.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're just super basic.
Oh, who knows? Yeah. I drew this really basic arrow that looks like all the other arrows, and now it really I think this person's ripping me off.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's amazing, and that's why they stole it.
Oh, who knows?
So those are our thoughts on the Hamilton mixtape.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Should we go to...
We are 40 minutes in, so we want to get to something from the bowl, we've got to do it.
Let's do something from the bowl.
Okay.
We can save some of the other questions for next week.
All right.
Do you want to pick, Steve? I feel like I always pick.
I can pick one. Yeah. Sure. Let's see. So this is Topics from the Bowl.
Topics from the Bowl.
If you haven't listened to the podcast before, which I hope if you're new, this is the first one you're listening to, and not the first one ever.
Yeah. Don't start at the first one ever.
I talked to you about this a little bit. When people start at the very beginning of a running thing like a podcast, we don't have a
story or
a running storyline.
We make callbacks, but there's nothing we're going to reference a story, a very specific story, and it's continuing into
You don't need all that context.
Yeah.
If you find that you love it now and you want to listen back, great. But if you're just trying it out, listen to the most recent one, because we've gotten better,
We
hopefully.
have gotten better. We have a theme song.
We have a theme song now.
Well, we might have a new microphone, maybe.
Yeah, in the future.
Manuel Miranda.
Why are you...
I just really want him to give us something for free.
You really want Lin-Manuel Miranda to randomly just be like, hey, these guys mention me literally every week. They're not thirsty or anything. They just want me to like them and give them free stuff. Sure, here you go,
I would
guys.
even just be happy with like a basic handwritten note on like hotel stationery. So Steve pulled out the perfect.
I can't believe how well this is.
This is so great.
Oh, man.
The topic that we're going to talk about for the next 5-ish minutes, bad sponsors for the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so potential bad sponsors for our podcast.
Lululemon. That's like bad as in we have nothing in common with Lululemon.
Neither of us does yoga.
We don't do yoga. We don't wear Lululemon
I don't
clothes.
even run on my treadmill anymore until my foot stops hurting. Jeez.
I don't think they make shoes or anything like that. It's really expensive yoga pants, clothing brand.
Yeah.
I've gone to their store like, oh, this is cute. Like, oh, it's $100
$90
for this tank
pants.
top. No, thank you.
Hey, Lululemon, if you're listening, we actually do want your business.
Please sponsor us. We'll cut this out and we'll replace it with the sponsored ad.
Trojan condoms, probably not so great.
I don't know. It might be kind of interesting to have like a
guess
condom
so.
sponsor.
I would feel really weird talking about that personally.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
we'd have to record an ad and probably re-record it and read off a script. Like, if you want to get busy, then something.
When you're having irresponsible casual sex, at least be slightly more responsible. Hashtag Trojan condoms.
Hashtag wear condom. Hashtag Trojan strong.
Trojan really wants us to.
But Trojan is actually a really terrible name for condoms. Let's be honest.
I guess that's true. Because it's like
they secretly invaded. Like, you think that's gonna be safe. Look at this nice horse gift.
Yeah.
Let's bring it inside. Oh, they all
the story of the Trojan horse like really ruins the old saying that you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if somebody was like, hey, let's look that gift horse in the mouth, they would have seen all those warriors in there.
Soldiers in here.
We don't want this horse. So anyways,
that's bad sponsor.
Yeah, well, and apparently also a bad, because really the idea is like, I'm gonna sneak inside your gates, and then all my warriors are gonna destroy your insides.
And by warriors we mean STDs in this case,
or maybe like babies.
Unplanned pregnancies are ruining lives.
So anyway,
oh jeez,
Trojan, if you're listening, your sponsorship is welcome, sir.
I'm trying to think of something else.
The KKK would be a really bad sponsor.
The alt-right. Any alt-right. That being said, Kellogg's, we would love to have you as a sponsor.
Yeah. Since you're looking for some extra sponsorship area, losing all that Breitbart traffic, you just come on over, Kellogg's. We got you.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. What about like Dole pineapples?
I would be so into that.
That'd be actually really cool, just because it's like, what? I was listening to this podcast, and all of a sudden there was this advertisement for pineapples. Like what?
Dole fruit.
Dole fruit.
Not as dull as you might think.
Yeah.
We got you, Dole.
We got you,
already
Dole.
got good copy
We're gonna dole out these pineapples like nobody's business.
Man, have you ever heard so many Dole puns in 1 minute? No.
No, I don't think so.
You don't.
That was such a stretch. I'm so sorry, Dole pineapples.
Did you? It's all right. I got a good one in there, so I'm good. So
hashtag Trojan condoms.
Okay. Well, do you have any more? I can't think of any.
I'm looking over at this Great Value.
Oh, that's the Walmart brand.
Walmart brands. But if we were just to be sponsored by Great Value,
that would be amazing.
That'd be crazy because we could literally talk about anything, cooking oil.
Well, and they're like the generic brand, so like they probably don't do any advertising.
Yeah, I know.
So it would be really amazing.
Be really amazing. And we'd just be like, Just do like maybe $100 worth of advertising.
I'd be like, great value Frosted Flakes. Same name as the other Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes isn't copyrighted.
Yeah.
There's no trademark on the name Frosted Flakes. It's really weird. Look it up on Wikipedia. Oh, speaking of Wikipedia, I came up with a great... You and Otto should do this with me and Melissa next summer. I want to go to all of the geological formations that are called Molly's Nipple in Utah.
Oh, you mentioned that once. Are there 4?
No, there are more than that.
There are more than 4.
Molly's Nipple is the name given to, I tweeted this once, given to as many as 7 peaks, at least 1 butte, at least 1 well, and some other geological features in Utah. At least 1 well?
1 well?
I had to go get that life water from Molly's Nipple. The life-sustaining liquid.
Was there someone famous named Molly? Does the word nipple mean something differently back in old-timey days?
There is a section on the Wikipedia article that the section title is Notable Molly's Nipples.
Oh, why?
Is that the nipples of notable Mollies? Or
Molly Ringwald? Like, what? Is there
Wikipedia.
Oh, why does this thing... Why? I just can't handle...
No, but I think it would be really fun. I'm pretty sure,
fun.
now that I think about it, we have definitely mentioned Molly's Nipple on the podcast.
We can make an album on our podcast page of pictures.
I only know one person named Molly. I hope she never listens to this.
Molly, if you're listening, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I apologize.
Also to all of the Mollys in the world that happen to be named similarly to these geological formations. We're apologizing.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I will think no further about what's under your garments.
Your garments. That's a funny joke because
we live in Utah. I got you. Let's not go there.
We don't want to go there.
Man,
yeah, I would love to make a picture album of and we'll just call it Molly's Nipples. Not.
Somebody at work suggested one of those family portrait frames, right? Where you can put in a whole bunch of different pictures and then just put Molly's Nipples in the top of it.
The fancy script,
Molly's Nipples.
Established, 2014. We started going to all the Molly's Nipples.
All the Molly's Nipples in Utah.
Oh, man.
Man, and it's so awkward when you don't... We can't talk about this anymore. If you have any friends named Molly, send them this podcast.
Be like, this is hilarious.
They won't feel uncomfortable at all.
Tell them to stop around minute 40-ish. Oh, maybe later than that.
Anyway.
Who knows?
Hey, we didn't say anything disgusting or super sad or very political this whole time.
This is so great. We just talked about nipples.
Just nipples. Nipples and Trojan condoms and how that's a really bad name.
That's a great value there, Steve.
We did it.
We did it.
All right.
Thanks to none of our sponsors because we don't have any yet. So
we'll get there.
We'll get there. On that note, thank you for listening, everybody.
I have been your co-host, Steve.
And I have the pleasure of being Steve's co-host, Alicia.
And this has been Plain Donuts. Goodbye.
Bye.